Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dale Calvert's Thursday night No Fluff training webinar. I'm Dawn Calvert, and I'm here just to get things set up for Dale. He'll be here momentarily. I'm just going to go over a few things first. Again, welcome everyone. Great to have everyone here. We've got a good crowd, got people from all over the world, and if you're joining us from Crowdcast, Facebook or YouTube, we just want to welcome you, and also a special welcome to our replay viewers. Thank you for taking the time to come back and watch this if you missed it live. So I'm going to get things set up here. Okay, welcome everyone to Dale Calvert's Thursday night training webinar. Tonight's webinar is part 1 of the 21 Laws of Network Marketing Wealth Generation. And one question that Dale would encourage you to ask yourself before you listen to him or anyone else is, who is this person and why should I be listening to them? If you're joining us for the first time tonight, your trainer will be Dale Calvert. He's been involved in the network marketing industry for over 35 years. He started when he was just 20 years old. He lived in this tiny little home, 600 square feet, and he drove this little beat-up Chevette that's parked out front. His sponsor quit 2 weeks after he joined, but for 3 years he had the opportunity on his job to listen to audio cassettes from different personal development trainers within the network marketing industry, and he listened to those audios for 8 to 10 hours a day. That really paid off, and it led him to put together a unified duplicatable system, and following these systems, his team really took off. And 2 years later, he was able to leave his full-time job at IBM in Lexington, Kentucky. It took him 9 years to develop $92,000 in income, but by his 10th year, it jumped to $252,000, his 11th year, $1.1 million, and by his 14th year, $3.8 million. All because he realized that long-term success was dependent upon systematically developing the leaders within his team. And at the age of 39, he sold his interest in network marketing in the business that he had, and for the last 16 or 17 years, he's operated Network Marketing Support Services, which is a generic teaching, training, consulting, and seminar company for the network marketing profession. And Dale and I together, we have a small staff that we operate 4 different businesses, and his focus primarily for the last 2 years has been Network Marketing Support Services. A few years after starting, Dale was able to build this 16,000 square foot home in Lexington where his daughters were raised. You can hear his whole story at MLMhelp.com, where you can listen to The Power of a Dream DVD. The bottom line is, Dale understands that building duplicating teams, when he was building a duplicating team of over 60,000 people, the systems that he shares with you every Thursday night, he was able to develop more 5, 6, and 7-figure earners than any other generic teacher or trainer in the industry. This weekend, Dale will be speaking in the Philadelphia area. It's a company event that they have opened it up on Saturday to the public, so anyone can join, or anyone's welcome to come. When you get to the registration desk, just explain that you're a guest of Dale Calvert, and this is the address, the Courtyard, Philadelphia City Avenue, I guess that's a Marriott, Fairmount Ballroom and Meeting Center in Philadelphia. So he would love to see many of you there and shake your hand. Okay, so I think Dale is just about ready. We'll bring him up, and I will talk to you guys next week.
Good evening, everybody. Good to have you with us. Appreciate you being here. Tonight's going to, I say this every week, but I'll just kind of explain to you what I want to share with you tonight. This month will be our 2-year anniversary. 2 years ago, I made the decision, the first time in my life, even though we'd operated network marketing support services really since the mid 90s, and then 2000 really things really kind of took off when gave me the opportunity to travel all over the world, meet all types of awesome people, and just do what I love to do. But my frustration with the things that were being taught at that time and the lack of focus on the reality that the real product in network marketing is people. And if you build people, people will build the business. I just got frustrated with all of it, even though I never stopped. I mean, it's been phenomenal. But 2 years ago, I decided that, I'm really, really going to do my very best to positively impact this profession the best I can for the rest of my life. And I just came to that conclusion, and I've never really told the whole story, but I had two heart attacks a couple years prior to that, and just things start happening, you start thinking about it. So that decision was made actually in July 2 years ago, and by August we started doing these webinars every week. Some of you are here every single week. I appreciate your support more than you know. Some, this is your very first one. Again, welcome, glad to have you here. But over the last 2 years, I've thought about, Dale, what have you learned in the last 2 years, being extremely active, working with a lot of different people and seeing a lot of different mindsets and personalities and everything that you've experienced the last couple years. If you had to think about what are the 21 most important ideas, laws for network marketers to understand today, what would they be? And honestly, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this information. I may write a book. Tonight, I'm going to cover the first 6. I can tell you this, there's a yin and the yang. And what I mean by that, the yin, the positive, and I don't know if it's really positive, I just know the term yin and yang. But the positive is, over the last 5 years, I have been so inspired by all the success stories that I've been privileged to hear about from a lot of newbies. And I mean, people that have joined the profession in the last 5 years, and honestly, they did it with their own drive, determination, and work ethic, and very little what I call directional leadership. Actually, Kim Blanchard coined that term, directional leadership. And it's been amazing. I was on a private, what they call them, Google Hangouts one day this week, and I was on there with 2 young ladies, both in the last 5 years have earned over $1 million each in the network marketing business model. So I'm totally motivated and inspired when you see that. And honestly, I think because the business model is so powerful that those stories still exist. And it's exciting to me. The yang is, I'm totally shocked at the ridiculous paradigms that are considered common business practices, and very sad that the network marketing business model is not leading the entrepreneurial revolution that is absolutely happening around the world. It should be, because there's no opportunity in the world where average people with above average desire can start with very little, and through persistence and dedication and learning new skill sets and mindsets, who create total life-altering income for their family for generation. There's nothing like it on the planet, but it's just is what it is. And it's disheartening that we in an attempt to try to do things quicker, faster, and easier, a lot of times we forget what it's really all about, and that's developing teams of people. So, you know, over the last couple of years, I would say I've been sincerely fascinated by the stories human beings tell ourselves. I'm really shocked at how we fight wisdom of the ages principles that were here before we were, and will be as important 100 years from now as they are today. And while we try to grind and fight against those principles, it fascinates me. I sincerely wake up every day and I feel like that when I go out in public, that I'm surrounded by people that really can't see the obvious. And I'm going to give you an excellent example of that on a future webinar, maybe next week. I don't want to spoil it this week. But the reality is, guys, we got to get on our own side as human beings, and we got to believe in ourselves. And we got to create the right brain cell patterns, the right self-talk. And when we're not saying the right things to ourselves, we have to stop ourselves and don't let those trenches continue to just repeat themselves over and over. Cancel, and replace it with the positive. And we have to do that as human beings. And if we do, life is pretty exciting. The possibilities are kind of endless. I love the verse, as you believe, so shall it be done unto you. And that's just a universal principle. Truth is truth. And we control our thoughts, but our subconscious mind really does. And we got to get a hold of our subconscious mind and our self-talk. And I'm just surprised that people don't get that. So I'm going to give you the first 5 principles tonight. If you ask me, Dale, what's number 6? I couldn't tell you. I literally couldn't tell you. But I do know these are the first 5. And next week I'll probably cover 6 through 10 or 11. I'm going to do 5 of these or so a week throughout the month of August. And it's good for me to have to really put these together. Number 1, without question, is until you know why, the how doesn't matter. You've got to know what you want to accomplish. You've got to begin with the end in mind. Until you know why, the how doesn't matter. The majority of network marketers are focused on making money, with nothing wrong with that, but they're not focused on building a real business. And there is a shift there. When you're focused on building a real business, then things like customer acquisition and retention and a lot of other things you're going to be thinking about. But most network marketers just go into the marketplace trying to make money and recruit people and sell stuff. And they never think about long-term business. What am I really developing? What is the end? How am I going to exit down the road? What, am I going to have to stay in this grind forever? How do I not have to stay in this grind forever? And again, there's 3 phases of any business. Phase 1 is the grind. And in network marketing, I would call that the launch. And then if you do everything and you're willing to really work hard and get things moving in the right direction, then you're going to have growth in network marketing if you're focused on developing people and not spending time with the wrong people. You're going to have growth, and eventually down the road you can exit. And if you build it right and you have leadership stacked upon leadership that know how to develop leaders, it will continue to grow and duplicate without you. If you build it on your own work ethic, drive, grind, ambition, and you depend on other people to have that level of whatever you had, it's probably not going to happen. I tell people every single day people every day. They always making 300,000. My income's dropped to 80,000. I don't know what to do. And I communicate every single day. You're not the issue. The focus has been on you, what you're doing, where you're going, but it's on developing people. It's developing teams and systematically developing those teams. That's where your focus has to be. You have to have that leadership development shift. Number 2 is you're in the leadership development business. And I was thinking about this week. In my life, over 35 years in the network marketing profession, I've heard one person ever say that you're in the leadership development business. One. I cannot name one other person other than Shackley's master coordinator, Jim Burke. And when he said it, sometimes I think he and me are the only ones that ever got it. Now, Zig Ziglar told us, you can have anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. It's a law. And in network marketing, we're focused on all this other stuff. I need to be a better speaker, Dale. I need to work on my personal development. I need to get my time management. And I need to do this. And I need to get my funnel set up. And I got to get this right. And I need to learn how to close people and all this other stuff, which is important. I'm not saying it's not important, but I am saying until you have the leadership development paradigm shift, whatever you accomplish in this profession, I believe when you get out here, you should be way out there. I really believe that if you don't focus on developing leaders, you're going to achieve, if you achieve a 6-figure or $250,000 or $300,000 a year income, in my opinion, without this shift, it's going to be about 10% of what you could have achieved. And I sincerely believe that. And the thing that we have to all learn is you can only help those that are willing to help themselves. We all in the beginning, trying to help negative, whiny people that really needed it progress and move forward, about took me out of this business in my first 3 years. So you've got to identify who you can really help and who you can't. You're in the leadership development business. 3% of the population can create momentum with the skill sets and mindsets that they enter the profession with. And they think, this is important, they think because I did it, anybody can do it, other people can do it. And they don't understand their uniqueness. They don't understand that they entered the profession with an extra dose of something. And they don't understand the concept between 70% of the population, which are going to die broke no matter what you do, 3% that are just going to charge forward like a rhino and get it done. And they don't understand that wealth is created in network marketing by developing those 27%ers. And if they ever have that shift and they ever get it, they're awesome. But most people don't ever have that shift. And again, I wrote about this in the Masses book, Why the Masses of Network Marketers are Frustrated, Confused, and Don't Have a Clue what they're doing. I don't know. I think this was written like maybe in the late 90s, and it's truer today than it's 10 times more obvious today than whenever I wrote this book. And it's actually a booklet. But it's 10 times more obvious. And it's obvious in every company, everywhere you go. Number 3, new skill sets and mindsets are required, keyword, required to build a network marketing team. The number one mistake new people make is attempting to build it with the skill sets and the mindsets that they enter the profession with. They try to go out and maybe they've never been involved in this profession, they've never had any success, and they go to another company with the same skill sets and the same mindsets they had in the past company or the past 8 companies, and they get the same results. 100% of 0 is 0. There's skill sets and mindsets required to build a network marketing team, and you have to develop them. You've got to get them. And again, 3% can go out and do it, but they have the worst time trying to duplicate because it wasn't systematic, it wasn't sequential, it wasn't the way every other organization just about on the planet develops teams, and they do it on their own grind. So skill sets must be learned sequentially. That's why we introduced the MLM Training Club. Mindsets are developed through repetition and creating new brain cell patterns over a period of time. And there's specific mindsets and skill sets, and everybody listening to me tonight can develop them. The reason most people don't is they don't know that they are, keyword again, required. Now I've got a double CD set on Amazon called MLM Mindsets, and I don't talk about that enough. And a lot of people tell me, Dale, that's the best training you've ever done. So it's skill sets and it's mindsets. And to not understand that is a major, major mistake. Number 4, you can't escape the launch. And I would probably say it this way: you can't escape expanding your comfort zone. I am beyond shocked at the number of organizations and companies that don't have heavy emphasis on teaching new people how to get their business launched. This is how we get it launched. And when I sit back over the last 2 years, it's like if people join and they stay on auto ship and they keep hanging around, spamming their social media and building blogs that nobody's ever going to see, and they stay on auto ship, then we're kind of happy with that. And man, I don't understand that. But I really feel like that's kind of the attitude that a lot of leaders have. If they just stay on auto ship, I'm cool. I don't want to get them upset, because if I tell them the truth, then they might fall off of auto ship. I mean, it blows my mind. And it goes back to, number 2, we don't understand that we're in the leadership development business. So, all teams are built in a state of momentum. It's not about just having a bunch of followers. Again, there's people that have been hanging around this profession 3, 4, 5, 10 years. And it's like they're just waiting for the foo-foo dust to be sprinkled on them, or they're waiting for lightning to strike, and all of a sudden they've won the lottery. And they've never really went out there ever and launched their business. They've just kind of passively mentioned it from time to time while today spanning their social media sites. Guys, it's not going to work that way. It shouldn't work that way, and it won't work that way. And if it does work that way for a few people, it's not going to work for people on their team, because I know people that built huge businesses with Google AdWords until the Google slap came. They built huge businesses with Craigslist until Craigslist quit allowing HTML ads. They built huge businesses with different social media sites, and now it's not what it used to be. Facebook, a great example. I mean, you know how many people are actually see your messages and your posts now on Facebook. Last I saw, it was less than 10%. So we do crazy stuff like getting people to respond to what's your favorite chewing gum, to get them to respond, so the next time we send out a promotion, they'll see it. Man, it blows my mind. It just blows my mind. Your time's too valuable. So some of you tonight, you need to restart your business, or maybe start it for the first time. Write this down. It'll take you right to a webinar that I talked about this, how to restart your network marketing career, or how to start it for the first time. It's right there. The whole training, free access for anybody that wants to take a look at it. tinyurl.com. Some people are listening to this. tinyurl, http://tinyurl.com/R-E-S restart and then MLM. Will take you right to that webinar. You can also do a search for it at MLMhelp.com and it'll come up for you. Momentum is just so important, guys. You got to get it launched so you can create some momentum. Success is like a snowball. You got to get it moving, and then the more you row in the right direction, the greater it gets, the bigger it gets. It's just the way it's set up. It's the way it is. Momentum, I love this quote by Dr. Maxwell. He said, momentum solves 80% of your problems. This is another awesome quote. You get some momentum going. You get the adrenaline flowing. Some of you have experienced that, and anything can happen. When you get the momentum going and the adrenaline flowing, watch out. But trying to do it without the momentum and the adrenaline is drudgery. It's drudgery. This should be an exciting adventure for you. Exciting adventure. Every time you get knocked down, it should give you that much more motivation to keep on moving forward. I love this quote from Tony Robbins. People who have succeeded have momentum. The more they succeed, the more they want to succeed, and the more they find a way to succeed. Similarly, when someone is failing, the tendency is to get on a downward spiral that can even become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Truth is truth. Truth is truth. And you know, I have no doubt, as many people that we have with us tonight, some people are in a downward spiral. Dale doesn't have any foo-foo dust. I don't have, but I can tell you this. I can tell you this without hesitation. Get control of your own self-talk. I've recommended the book 1,000 times. What to say when you talk to yourself. What to say when you talk to yourself. You got to get serious about it. And when you catch yourself going down these roads, you got to say, cancel, 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 cancel. I mean, literally out loud, cancel, cancel, and replace it with the positive. That's the only way you can get focused and get moving with momentum in the right direction. You got to get on your own team. I was talking to a friend of mine I hadn't seen in years this week, and this guy is in the rodeo world. You know, bronking horses and calf roping and all that stuff. I don't know anything about it, but he's an expert in that world. And I worked with him 20 years ago, and he's like the premier, he's the Gucci of bits and spurs. He hand makes them out of silver. He's made them for presidents. I mean, this guy's big time in that world and what he does. And he said, Dale, I'm in my shop back here, and he said, your tape of the month from 20 years ago, he said, they're all wore out. He said, but they're hanging on a pegboard back here. He said, my cassette player doesn't work anymore. He said, but I'll go to the rest of my life, I'm going to hear your Southern accent in my head. He said, I hear you talking to me every day. And I mean, that just blew my mind. But the thing that he said, Dale, he said, you got me to read that What Do You Say When You Talk to Yourself? And he said, I buy those books 3 at a time on Amazon. And he said, I run across young kids in the rodeo business, and they got bad self-talk, and they should have won a contest, and they didn't. And they had fear going into that contest that they weren't going to be able to rope it, do the rope right. And again, I kind of follow what he was saying. I don't know anything about that. And he said, I'll pull out that book and I'll write them a personal note and I'll mail it to them. And he said, so many of them, he said, it's been a switch for them. It's got them in the right direction. He said, I have one guy that will be national champion something. And he said, 3 years ago, I sent him that book. Man, that just fires me up. That's what it's about, guys. And to not understand it and to not recognize it and to think, well, it doesn't apply to me, but Dale, you don't know my story and you don't understand this and you don't understand that. And here's what I do know. Your past does not have to equal your future unless you want it to. And it's up to you. It's up to you. It's about you and the person in the mirror staring back at you and nobody else. 5, the business is built on a series of 90-day runs after you launch. A series of 90-day runs after you launch. And I believe you need to schedule time off. You need to, I mean, when you're going, go. And have your head right, your mind right, and go. But when you're taking off, take off. You know, hang out at the pool. You know, have a date night with your spouse every week. You know, when you're working, work. And when you're relaxing, relax. Wherever you, Jim Rohn said it best, wherever you are, be there. If you're with your grandkids or your kids or your parents or anybody around you, be with them. Don't be thinking about all these things you have to do in your business. Be where you are with who you're with. This may not be the business model for some people, and there's going to be a lot of people on your team that will join. It's not for them. It's just not. It's not for everybody. But here's what I believe. You'll never know if it's for you until you put together a documented 90-day run where for 90 days, see, all of you probably listen to me, you went to a conference, you got fired up and you were fired up for a week or 3 days, but a documented 90-day run. And if you put together a documented 90-day run and you look back on what is, and you don't even think about what's happening till the run's over. You don't think about, well, I can't believe, you just do what you do. You do the numbers. Do the numbers. And then at the end of 90 days, you can stop, take a breath and say, okay, is this for me? Is this product or service appealing to enough people? I mean, you can ask some real serious questions at that point. But until you go after it for 90 days, you haven't really went after it. It could have been for you and you could have missed it. It could have been for you and you missed it. And once you've been around it, this business model, and you understand the lifestyle and the time and the money, it never gets out of your system. It never leaves. It never leaves. It just doesn't. It's just there. It's just powerful. It's the most powerful business model in the world when it's done right. When it's done right. And when people are focused on building a real business and not just seeing if they can talk Uncle Harry into joining them. Successful people are willing to do for a short period of time what most aren't, so they can do for the rest of their life what most can't. I really thought when I started When I first saw the business, I thought, well, I'll have a portion 90 days. My gracious, everybody and their brother's going to want to do residual income. Why would be, and of course, we all go through that ignorance on fire stage. But I mean, if you had told me, Dale, it's going to take you 9 years to get to $92,000 a year, forget it. I worked hard during those 9 years. I would have never started. Now, if you told me today, Dale, at 39, you're going to be able to retire, have made millions of dollars, helped over 200 people create 5, 6, and 7-figure incomes, I would have done it in a heartbeat, and I would do it all over again. But I tell you what, my first 3 years, I wanted to quit every day, and I was working it consistently to the best of my ability, which wasn't much at the time. But I was doing everything I could do every week. And, you can't escape paying the price. You got to learn to enjoy it, be fascinated with it. So the 5 steps, guys: begin with the end in mind. You're in the leadership development business. New skill sets and mindsets are required. You can't escape getting out of your comfort zone. You can't escape getting your business launched. And the business is built in a series of 90-day runs after the launch. We'll have a replay up for you in 24 hours or so. And a lot of other replays at momsuccesswebinar.com. That's a free membership for any of you, at least it is now. We're going to change that at some point, but you can access basically all 2 years of the trainings we've done, almost all of them. And we'll probably put this back there. Well, we will. I don't know if it'll stay back there, but we'll put it back there. Guys, I appreciate you more than I can explain. Everything you do on social media, Amazon, podcasts, all the feedback that we get, it means more right now than you can ever know. And it means a lot, and I appreciate it. I sincerely do. When you buy something from us on Amazon, you leave a review, all that means a lot, and I sincerely appreciate it. Now, I think that's my last slide. Yeah, y'all, I'll be right, give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. 30 seconds, just give me 30 seconds. I gotta do something real quick. I'll be right back. I'm back. I'll take a few questions. You guys have any questions, you can leave them in the middle there. Let me get back, pull the screen back up. And if you have any questions about tonight or anything about building your team, I'll be happy to answer them for you. You guys are awesome. Good to see all you guys. Preston, haven't seen you in a while, sir. Good to have you here. Cool. Muhammad, I'm going to be in Pennsylvania this week. Okay, let me look at the questions. Be happy to try to answer those for you. If you see a question, I haven't even looked at these, but if you see a question you definitely want me to answer, just can click on vote and vote it up. Hello, Dawn's answered it. Dale, our safe list still a good option? No question, just a thank you. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate you being here. Dale, are safe lists still a good option for leads in this market? And if you could send them to a Google Voice to get the process started, thank you. I would always send safe lists to a lead capture page. Basic concept, Vito. Basic concept. If the lead's created online, keep them online. If the lead is created out in the local market, and you think, okay, they're going to see that bandit sign or whatever, and they're going to call on their cell phone, then Google Voice. Do safe lists still work? Kim Jeter can answer that. I know for a fact, and it's so weird, but I know for a fact that Kim Jeter sponsored somebody this week in her program with a safe list. Know for a fact. So yes, they still work. People are sponsoring people every week with safe lists. The key to safe lists is consistently. You do them every Tuesday, every Friday, or every Monday, every 3 days, or every week, and it's consistent. It's got to be part of your schedule. Today's my safe list day. And once it starts working for you and you get profitable, we do safe lists to promote our podcast and to promote a lot of things. And I have a lady in Taiwan that does them every week and has for me for years. And she's awesome at it. And I had to go through a few to find her, but she's phenomenal. So my whole thing is you master it yourself, then you outsource it as far as lead generation. Master it and then outsource it. Ron, good to have you here as well. Dawn, big safe list. Would you talk about your business to everyone you come in contact with? Never. I never know. For example, at my gym, I just wanted to go there and work out and not really talk about business. Is that bad? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But have some drop cards you can put around while you're there. And see, here's the thing. As far as when you're in the market, I was never somebody to create a conversation and talk to somebody about my business. Never did it. Never did it. I forced myself and created the comfort of having a button. And if I'm say, okay, I'm going to hand out 30 brochures, I'm going to hand out 30 drop cards. I'm going to the mall, taking my daughters, and I'm going to be at the mall for 2 hours. And I can go in the bookstore and walk around and make sure I get 30 brochures or 30 drop cards out, or I can go sit in the middle. I call them the husband chairs. Sit in the husband chairs. So I would say I'm going to hand out 30 brochures. And what I did, I go to the mall, walk around, go in the bookstore, do whatever. Say, hey, I noticed you were looking at my button. This brochure will tell you all about it. My phone number's on the back, and just keep on walking. I never had any uncomfortable conversations. And all of us, I mean, I used to go in bookstores all the time and still do, and it doesn't happen as much, but back, a few years ago, it's like people come up to me and say, I see you're interested in business, because I'd be looking at Robert Kiyosaki books or whatever. And I just got to where I said, how long have you been involved in network marketing? I don't believe in uncomfortable conversations. I believe the easiest lead, the best lead is the one that you generate yourself, and there's multiple ways to do that. There is no magic way to do it. It's like Las Vegas. They don't make all their money from blackjack. They have multiple games. And as a marketer, you need to have multiple games that are creating enough leads for you to get to enough people on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. That's how you win. Robert, we subscribe to your DISC series and love it. Thank you. That's our training club, MLMtrainingclub.com. If you aren't a member, you should be. That's my pitch tonight. I mean, it really is. Do you still suggest a formal letter with a sale promotional document attached after asking for referrals? Gave it one series, got a few referrals, but no new members or reps. Absolutely, positively, without question, Robert. For the first 50, and you do the first 40, 50 names to practice with. You're practicing. You're getting in a rhythm. You're getting you're getting comfortable with the processes. It's part of the learning process. And again, you mail out 10, you follow up. 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 Then you stop and say, okay, I had 40 go out. I had 4 customers or 1 customer, it doesn't matter what the numbers are, because you're planting seeds. You're planting seeds, and the numbers will be what the numbers are, but you're getting the processes, the skill sets in your comfort zone. That's the key there. And then all those seeds that you plant, when you run into them at the grocery store, at the family reunion, they're going to say, "You still doing that business?" And you say, "Yeah, absolutely." And they're going to say, "Well, how much money are you making?" And you say, "You wouldn't believe me if I told you," and walk away from them. So I hope that answered it, man, Robert. But yes, direct mail today, doing it the way we share, handwritten envelope, colored envelope, stamp on it, written return address or no return address, is going to get open and it's going to get read. And email, people open their email with their hand on the delete button. Okay, let's see. I'll go back through. Are you going to address the poll question? I didn't have a poll question. What's these polls? Oh, I don't know how. I don't remember putting those up there. How long should it take to develop a profitable network marketing business? If you said less than 6 months, this is probably not the business model for you. It's just not. You should buy something you can sell wholesale, buy wholesale, sell at retail. If you said less than 6 months, it's sincerely probably not the business for you. 6 months to a year, 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years. I would say 3 to 5 years. You got to have a long-term game plan, and you got to be thinking about creating residual lifetime income. Residual lifetime income. And again, I understand people join for different reasons, and I respect all of them. But for me, if it didn't offer residual lifetime income, there's other things that you can do that don't require you develop such strong mindsets and skill sets. And the reality is, the real benefit of this profession is that, and the effect you can have on generations just from understanding that mindsets. And I know people that, that are on downward spiral, that's foo-foo dust, Dale, whatever. Fine. It doesn't matter to me whether you believe it or not. I mean, it sincerely doesn't. As you believe, so shall it be done unto you. But Dale, I had good thoughts, and I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and I did it. Yeah, and what are you doing right now? It's not controlling it for a month. It's developing new brain cell patterns. I feel like I'm getting off. How long have you been involved in network marketing? I was just asking people. Over 5 years, it was 51% of the people. Those are the ones, and 40% of them said it should take 3 to 5 years. That's right. So I don't recall those poll questions, but I covered them because somebody asked me to. Questions and answers. James asked me. Thank you, James. Would you talk about business to everyone? You can answer that. Dale, I know you're going to be at a company event in San Diego at the end of August. Yes, I am. Are you planning on doing any training on Sunday? I don't know when I'm scheduled to speak there. and I haven't looked at my schedule and when I'm coming in and when I'm going out, but that's a good idea, Norm. So we'll just see what we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But I have nothing planned now, but I probably should if I can. Hi Dale, how do you, this is from Mike, how do you handle it when a prospect sniffs out that your business is network marketing and you know they have a negative idea about it? I would say, are you familiar? I would straight on, one go, straight on, one go, every time. Straight on, one go. Here's the one go. You need to have in your arsenal the CD by Robert Kiyosaki called Perfect Business. And if they say, well, blah, 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 network marketing, blah, 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 and my aunt's brother's uncle in 1977 ended up with a bunch of stuff in their garage they couldn't sell. If they're too much that way, then I would just say next, honestly. I've told people many times, really, based upon what you're telling me, I really don't think you'd be a good fit on our team, and walk away. You're not obligated to try to convince anybody. But if they're skeptical, I respect skepticism. I respect that. If they're just flat out negative and they'd be a bad influence anyway, your time's the most valuable asset that you have. So you've got to be careful who you allow on your team. I mean, really, because they'll just, so if you think they're skeptical, but not negative, if they're negative, just say, look, I really, based upon what you're saying to me, it's obvious to me that you don't really understand that this is that billions and billions of dollars a year are moved through the network marketing business model. And because of that, I really, really don't think you'd be a good fit for our team, and walk away. But if they're not, one go is to get that CD in their hand and say, look, I understand obviously a lot of people are skeptical, and I appreciate your skepticism. Would you do one thing? If I give you a CD by a New York Times best-selling author, would you listen to it? Because I think it'll give you some insights, and I think it'll help you clear up some questions that you have. And if they say, well, yeah, I'll listen to it, then have that CD and get it in their hand, and then follow up with them. If Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, New York Times bestseller, if he's not going to shift their brain, I'm not, neither is anybody else. You're probably not either. So that's the easiest way. And it until I know something better, that's the way you always handle that situation. Okay. Did we get them all? Think we got them all. Yes, we did. Listen, guys, you guys have an awesome week. Probably, I think I'll be back with you next Thursday. I haven't looked at my schedule yet, but we should be back, I think, next Thursday. Actually might be coming from Kentucky next week. I can't remember. But I will be back next Thursday. We'll cover 6 through 10, and we'll keep on rolling. I appreciate you. God bless you. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Good night.